contributions. There was a decentralization of power in the administrative system, we can say that, right? The kingdom was divided into provinces, and from provinces into regions, and regions into cities, and cities into villages. There were many kings to assist the king in administration. King's representative were managing the provinces, and hereditary officers looked after the village administrations. Hereditary officers are nothing but the people who have come from generation to generation in the same profession, are nothing but the hereditary officers. They managed the villages. No doubt the king was the supreme head or the supreme judiciary, whereas the regional officers, they were dispensing justice in the provinces, right? uh, 1/6 of the produce was collected as land tax. Okay, 1/6, that means out of 6 parts, one part was collected as a land tax or land revenue from the farmers and the peasants, we can say that, right? uh, in fact, it was a major income to the state. In it was a major income to the state. At the same time, there were some other taxes like trade tax, professional tax, road tax, fair tax, export tax, hmm, and some other taxes which were useful to the state in building the state. Okay, and you should be knowing that even today we are paying the taxes to the government. Why we pay the taxes to the government? It is not just the taxes as a sales tax. We pay varieties of taxes to the government, just like trade tax, professional tax. The people who are engaged in professional and are continuing in their profession, they too pay the taxes to the government. Then what do you call that, if you purchase a vehicle also, we have to pay the tax. It is called road tax. Then if any fairs are conducted or exhibitions are conducted, something like that, for that also we have to pay the taxes. And even when we are engaged in business activities, we need to pay the taxes to the government. Every type of tax is collected from the people by the government. Why it collects? It collects mainly to give us a good administration, um, or it works for the betterment of the people. The same amount, the amount we pay as taxes to the government, it will give in form of basic infrastructure like roads, hospitals, colleges, schools, hmm, water facilities, hmm, medical facilities, etc. and all. So that is the reason one should pay the taxes to the government sincerely and honestly. During the reign of Vijayanagara, it had what do you call that? Its army had four divisions, that is infantry, cavalry, elephantry, and cannon divisions were the prominent in the army. And infantry is nothing but soldiers on foot. The soldiers who fight on land, it is termed as infantry, we say that. Whereas cavalry is nothing but sitting on the horseback or riding on the horseback and fighting, it is called as cavalry. It is also one kind of mm, it is also a branch of army, right? And then elephantry is a very same, sitting on the elephant and fighting against the enemies, it is called elephantries. And cannon divisions, cannon is nothing but today in India, in Indian army we see the tankers where they load some just like shot put type in what do you call that, things. Okay, and they shoot it. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಕ್ಯಾನೋನ್ಸ್. ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ತೋಪುಗಳು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು, ರೈಟ್? ಅವಾಗಿನ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ತೋಪುಗಳು ಇದ್ದವು. ಟುಡೇ ಇನ್ ಮಾಡರ್ನ್ ಆರ್ಮೀಸ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ದಿ ವಾರ್ ಟ್ಯಾಂಕರ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, the important the Arabian horses were attractive in the Vijayanagara kingdom. So next, coming to the social status. During their period, child marriage, sati system, and devadasi system were in practice. What do you mean by child marriage. Child marriage is nothing but today at present it is a offense in today nowadays in modern society. Child marriage is an offense, and he who commits a child marriage or one who encourages the child marriages shall be punished by the court of law. The government has fixed a certain age for the marriages for girls and boys, where boys should attain 21 years of age, and whereas girl at least 18 years of age. If even if one day is less than that, it is said to be an offense, and they shall be punished by the court of law. And for more information, you can open the first page of the first page or last page of social textbook, and you can go through there. The merits and demerits of child marriages um, are given in brief, right? Whereas sati system, what do you mean by sati system? It is a system of killing the woman at the funeral pyre of her husband. Think that if a husband dies, that means the wife too has to die along. That means she has to pass away. um, that means she has to depart away along with the husband. So it was a system. It is a system of killing the woman at the funeral pyre of her husband. It was a social practice during their time, and nowadays it is not seen. It is said to be one of the what do you call that? Social evil. We can say that social evil. Okay, Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Okay, he worked for the abolishment of sati system. As a result, Lord William Bentinck in 1829 he abolished sati system in India. And even today we are having this Devadasi system. In some places it is still seen. A Devadasi system is nothing but where the women were offered to the service of God, and this sometimes it leads to the exploitation of women. We can say that, right? And then monogamy was in practice. See, the rich, the common man, they were engaged in monogamy, whereas the rich and the kings, they got engaged in or they practiced polygamy. So you might be you should be knowing what is difference between monogamy and polygamy. Monogamy is nothing but having only one wife or marrying only one wife is called monogamy, whereas polygamy is nothing but marrying more than one wife or having more than one wife is called polygamy. So even today this what you call that polygamy, it exists in some faiths. Women were being respected during that time, and at the same time Deepavali and Dashara were celebrated grandly in the kingdom, uh, right? So today, even today, the Dasara, Mysore Dasara, which is very famous, it is mainly because it is the contribution of Vijayanagara rulers. We can say that. Uh, I told you that with the decline of Vijayanagara, this what you call Mysore, it also it became an independent state. It became an independent state because Mysore was a feudal kingdom, or it was under the control of the Vijayanagara. But even today, these rulers of what do you call that Mysore, they continue this Dasara festival, which is world famous, which is very world famous. Well, good morning, children. Let's move to the next part of the lesson, Vijayanagara. So we are studying about economic status. So agriculture was the main occupation of the people, or agriculture was the main occupation of the people in the kingdom. Rice, cotton, maize were the major crops that were grown in the empire. Kings, they encouraged the agriculture by constructing tanks and wells. Tanks is nothing but like rivers, constructing the rivers, streams. So in this way, why? In order to support the agriculture, or in order to provide the regular supply to the fields and to irrigate the lands. Hmm? They encourage, they built many tanks and wells. At the same time, They had trade links or trade relations with the different parts of the world: rice, cotton, sugarcane, diamond, then musk, sandal, and other commodities were exported to the other parts of the country and the world. In return, they imported the uh, horses, silk cloths, and makmal clothes. These are the goods that they imported from other countries. So, Vijayanagara was the international center for diamonds. It was the international center for the diamonds. Um, when it comes to diamond, I have to say that when I was studying, my teachers used to tell me that once upon a time in Hampi or in Vijayanagara, diamonds, rubies, pearls, and other ornaments were sold in the open markets, and that too using the measuring jars, and even varieties of cloths were also sold in the open market. But it is the fate today we cannot see a single piece of ruby or diamond in Vijayanagara empire. Maybe there, but is not yet known. So cloth weaving was the important industry. Cloth weaving was an important industries. Uh, they developed the ports also, we can say that, like Bhatkal, Honnavara, Mangalore were the important ports during that time. Port is nothing but a place where ships move into the water carrying the loads or the passengers, and in return they come to that same shore. Okay, that is called port, or in sense we can call it as a port city, we can say that. Okay, Mangalore port, Mangalore, it is the gateway of Karnataka, we say that. It is said to be the gateway of Karnataka in modern days. So coins were also very in use. Coins were also in use during the time, and then the figures of gods were etched on these coins. Were etched on these coins, and gold coins in the gold coins. It meant Varaha for them. Varaha, right? Next, coming to the literature, there were many well-known great poets in the Vijayanagara kingdom. Vidyaranya, he wrote the works like Shankara, Vijaya, and Sarvadarshana Sangraha in Sanskrit. Okay, then Ganga Devi, a queen of Kampana, she wrote Madhura Vijayam. Devarayadi second, or Prouda Devaraya, he wrote a work called Sudhanidhi. Krishna Devaraya was not only a great ruler but also a great scholar. He wrote Jambavati Kalyana in Sanskrit, Amukta Malyada in Telugu, then Rasamanjari, Madalasa Charitam, hmm, and many other works he has contributed to the literary world. Okay, and he encouraged the Telugu literature. As a result, Sri Krishna Devaraya got the title Andhra Bhoja. Andhra Bhoja. And after that, we are having Kumara Vyasas. He wrote Gadugina Bharata. Then Ratnakar Varani. He wrote Bharatisha Vaibhava. Chamarasa. He wrote Prabhulinga Lile. Prabhulinga Lile. It is a work on Allama Prabhu. It is a life history of Allama Prabhu, we can say that. And one more poet and a minister and a poet, that is Lakkanna Dandesha. He wrote Shiva Tattva Chintamani in Kannada language. In Kannada language, uh, poet by name Basava, a poet by name Bhima, he wrote Basava Purana. Okay, right? And then, right, there were 8 poets in the kingdom of Vijayanagara, and they were called as Ashta Diggajas. Ashta Diggajas. Among them, We are having Allasani Peddana, Tenali, Nandi Timmanna, Srinatha, Pingali Suranna, Tenali Ramakrishna, and others. So, next coming to the religious harmony. No doubt, the kings of Vijayanagara were the men of religious tolerance. We can say that religious tolerance, their religious tolerance in the sense we know that Bukkaraya, he pacified a fight or a conflict that was between Jainas and the Vaishnavas. And Prouda Devaraya, he allowed the Muslims to construct their mosques in his kingdom. And a well-known foreign traveler by name Barbosa, who visited Vijayanagara kingdom, he describes that Jews, Muslims, Hindus, Christians, they moved freely in the kingdom without any restrictions. It means that there was freedom to all the religions and different sects. Okay. Next, art and sculpture. Art and sculpture. So, a great historian by name Percy Brown, he says that uh, monuments and sculptural statues stated that art and sculpture of Vijayanagara was the evolutionary form of Dravidian style. He says that what the monuments and sculptures were built during the Vijayanagara period. He says that it was the evolutionary form of the Dravidian style of architecture. He says that it was nothing but the evolutionary, it was the beginning form of the Dravidian style of architecture. So here we are having this Hajara Ramaswamy temple. It is the image. Hmm? Not just that temple, many temples were there, just like Virupakshappa temple, Hajara Ramaswamy temple, Malyavanta Raghunatha temple, uh, Vijay Vithala Swami temple, Krishna Swami temple. Hmm? At the same time, there were Kamal Mahal, um, Elephant Stable, and some other monuments were present in Hampi, and still they exist in Hampi, right? And the temples built by them were built of hard granite rocks, and those temples they had spring pavilions and large dining rooms, dining halls, okay, and meeting halls, marriage halls, etc. And Sringeri's Vidya Shankara temple is one which can be example of these things, right? At the same time, there were several monuments constructed during the Vijayanagara times. Okay, this is Vidya Shankara temple, which is at Sringeri, right? And this Lepakshi temple was called Shaivas Ajanta. Lepakshi temple was called Shaivas Ajanta. Hmm? It has the pictures or sketches of Shiva Purana of Vijayanagara period. Then um, there are so many monolithic sculptures in the Vijayanagara. We can see in Hampi, just like a stone chariot which is present at Vijay Vitala temple. Then idols of Ugra Narsimha and Ganapati. They are nothing but the monolithic sculptures. We can say that monolithic is nothing but mono means single, litho means stone, and the sculptures which were carved out of a single rock, they were called as monolithic. They were called monolithic. Okay, and Carnatic music. Carnatic music was introduced by two dasas, that is Kanaka Dasa and the Purandara Dasa. They played an important role in creating awareness uh, about the caste and spiritual feelings in their songs. Who? Kanakadasa and Purandaradasa, they were the disciples of Vyasaraya, who was in the court of Vijayanagara Empire. Okay, and right. So here are some of the images. This is Ganapati, idols of Hampi. This is a stone chariot of Hampi, right? This is the chronology of the. Okay. Thank you. This completes your lesson.